Well, Anson, since we have you on the pod, I was gonna I want to ask you your
I know
first
where this is going. I know where this is going. Go ahead.
Sacramento Kings. Sacramento Kings. Sacramento Kings.
Oh God, yep. Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
so
Go ahead.
people didn't see. There's always another latest development. Like we recorded a pod 2 days ago, and the situation already changed. But
For
so
real.
the latest thing is there's rumblings coming out of Sacramento. Somebody, radio personality, Carmichael Dave, was saying that there's been some movement in the past 24 hours. I think he tweeted this yesterday. So he's saying Monday or Sunday, there's been some movement with Sacramento pulling the A's. But then later today, on Wednesday, the Rivercats said, hey, we're not going anywhere. We're Sacramento's team. Um, so you saw the Kings almost get ripped out of the Sacramento, and now you see what's going on at you see what's going on at Golden One Center. That place is amazing, like sick, like really sick energy. So how do you feel about the possibility that Sacramento might be
It
taking
just
the A's?
it just further drives my hate for John Fisher as a human being. He just ruins everything. Like everything he touches just goes to hell and back and goes back to hell. Second of all, it's super ironic and it's very like the Kings literally almost left the city in almost the same fashion. Not as bad as how it's going down in Oakland right now, but
Yeah,
who are they to accept a team who's going to be there temporary for like what 3 years to
yeah,
use them to go over to like to Vegas? Like no, like if there's one city who cares? Like also a disclaimer: the city of Sacramento they're great fans, great diehard fans. But it's like if you're a true Sacramento fan, if you're a true Kings fan, you don't want the A's there because it's like why would you? Like, it's the same thing where if the Kings were trying to go to Vegas, ironically, it's always Vegas,
yeah.
Vegas, Seattle, Virginia Beach, Anaheim. You name the city where the Kings that situation was at. Imagine if the Kings were talking to Oakland. Would Oakland want to host the Kings for 3 years until they dipped out to Anaheim? It's like the same thing.
Uh,
So it's like why would they act like oh like we want the money? Like no, it's not right. It's stupid. I hate it, and I hope that the city of Sac or those fans just start to like rebel because it's against Vivek. Vivek, the same dude who put his foot in his
yeah.
mouth so many times with the NBA 3.0, the same dude who hired Vlade Divac, who leaked the freaking draft picks, like the top five picks when they picked Marvin Bagley over Luca. Don't get me started on that. But yeah, it's very ironic, very contradictory of what they went through. So who are they to rehash memories of like Kings A's fans who are down there? Because there's a ton of A's fans down in Sac. I've lived in Sac for almost 9-10 years, so I know what that fan base is like. So it's very disappointing as a Kings fan. It's very disappointing to see Vivek just openly say, "Oh, like John Fish is my friend." I'll try to do a Kings game right now and have like a sign. Like I
Yeah.
got a who sits 2 rows behind courtside. I'll make it happen. Like if I know people who are down there who are diehard A's fans who are involved with Crown Downtown, who are involved with that whole fight to keep the Kings there. So it pisses me off, but I'm not surprised because it just further solidifies that all these owners are not great people at the end of the day. They think with their pockets. They don't care about the people as much as they say, like, oh, we're here for the people in the community. No, you're not. You don't care. As long as there's money in your pockets, you're just gonna go with it. So
Yeah, that was interesting too. Yeah, Vivek Ranadive, I believe that's how you say his name. The owner of the Kings. He also sat down with CBS Sacramento, said, "Hey, I'm great friends with John Fisher, and we talked about this for years." But to me, that kind of seemed like we've kind of had conversations. It's better, but nothing like concrete. That's how I kind of took it. But then, these things kind of take a life of their own, and I'm sure the A's don't mind having a little negotiating leverage against Oakland. Because
yeah.
they're meeting again. What April 2nd next week. So
Mhm. Did you
yeah.
hear what
I can think of
but
200 million reasons why the A's would rather stay at the Coliseum than they go to Sacramento. But,
I
we'll
can think of
see.
210 million.
Oh,
I could think of
yeah.
380 million.
Eh, there's
Like,
also that reason.
Yeah, and then also, yeah, we had schools over stadiums here too. They're going to be fundraising at the reverse boy or at the boycott. I keep calling it a reverse boycott. It's just a boycott.
Just
Yeah,
if you're gonna call it the reverse boycott, call it the reverse
yeah,
boycott. Just throw another reverse in there, cancel it
Reverse,
out.
yeah,
reverse opening day.
Reverse.
yeah, the
I,
reverse
I always want to say
Closing
revoice
day.
boycott.
voice boycott. But yeah, so I mean, I just feel like it's going to be so much stuff going on, and yeah, so I mean, even if they open at 5, and then the game's over at about 9:30, 10, it's like that's a 5-hour rager in the parking lot. Like it's at least if they don't open it earlier, you know?
And that's why I guess I'm not so much tripping about like, oh, they're open up at 5. I'm kind of like, I'm pretty exhausted now these days. So like, all right, so we won't party from 12 to midnight at the Coliseum like we
It'll
used to.
it'll be
So
like
we'll just
5
party from
to
5 to,
yeah, yeah.
so it's like I'm not that mad, but yeah, I feel it though.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of Sacramento, though, I do want to say that Sacramento, I got love for Sacramento. I hate that like people are trying to like, oh, we're a major league city. Like every city is a major league city. It's just that we've been brainwashed to think the way that these billionaires want you guys to think. Every city deserves a major league team. You know what I mean? If we had promotion relegation, we wouldn't be in this situation. If we had legislation that didn't fund all these fucking stadiums, we wouldn't have these problems of going back and forth. I love that the River Cats came out and said like, hey, we are Sacramento's team, and that's like hella respect to them, for like just like saying like we are here to stay. So like I appreciate that, So I got love for Sacramento. I got love for every hood in America, every city in America. Not so much Las Vegas just because they're so generic, but I know there's some real people out there and they deserve to have the real people, get a real expansion team, not the fucking A's. In
Yeah,
closing.
I've been impressed with a few of the minor league franchises of their, I guess, their bravery to just stand up and say like, nah, no, we're not cool with that. Like the Ports sponsoring Fans Fest, the River Cats saying, we're Sacramento's team. It's cool to know because the minor league teams are 100% independent of Major League Baseball teams financially. The only thing that their only affiliation is that the Major Leagues controls the players and the rosters. But other than that, they're their own operating businesses entirely. So
that's what I was wondering. That's good.
Yeah, not a penny goes to John Fisher if you support the Stockton Ports. When you go to a Ports game, every single dime of that goes to the Ports ownership group, which I looked into it. They're significantly better people than John Fisher. So I'm a Ports fan now.